Marshall Faulk is going to join us now. And Marshall, I'd love to know how you feel about cleaning up after breakfast. Like, do you leave the mess for someone else to clean up, or are you fastidious? And I think you're fastidious.
Nah, Suze, I happen to be the person that I clean as I go. So if I use a bowl, I clean it and I put it back. I can't, like, there's just something about the kitchen being messy while I'm cooking. I hate that.
No, and you've spent many a Thanksgiving with us, so you know that, like, I'm cleaning as I'm going. By the way, you're invited back. Chris, not so much. Remember when he came to the house? Remember the year that he came to the house and took all the Tupperware and didn't bring it back and then gift wrapped it for our kids? You wouldn't do that to our children.
Chris Marshall, I was young and dumb in those days. You remember, I was young and dumb in those days.
It's all good, man. You've grown up. You've grown up.
You've grown up.
Has he, though?
You've matured.
Has he, though?
We're trying.
You look like you're in a grid somewhere. Like, where are you right now? You look like, I'm telling you, for all of our people out there listening on the radio, you look like you're in like a Tron video.
Do you want to know where I'm at, Susie?
Yes, please.
You really want to know where I'm
Honey,
at?
I always like to know where you are. You know that.
This is perfect. Okay. I won't say in what city, although you already know that, but I'm at probably one of your favorite hotels. I'm at the Four Seasons.
Oh. Okay.
Not a 3, not a 2, but a 4. Nicely done. Excellent. Well, I mean, it is funny because the picture of you looks like you're in a video game. Like there's grids all around you.
I know.
Are you?
Well, I just didn't want people to see that I was making coffee. You see,
cute.
I didn't want people to see. I had my latte this morning. So,
okay.
You know.
So you're ready to go. Do you beignet when you go home? Do you beignet or two? What do you do?
Of course, I have to. I have the Cafe Du Monde. I have to. It is a staple of every time. Every time I have to.
God, will you bring me 1 or 2 when you come back?
They just won't be fresh. I can make them, though. I can make them.
What? I've known you for this long, and you're holding out on me all this time?
Man with many talents.
I know you are. Will you bring one on Tuesday for What the Football, please?
I got you.
All right, because I do love the food down there. It's kind of fun. But I remember when I went there for the Sugar Bowl, we went to, what's it, Mother's? Is that
Mother's,
the restaurant?
yeah.
Yeah. And we, there was a line around the block. I was with Mike Tirico and Tim Brandt for ABC, and they snuck us in the back. We went through the food lines, and this is like, I used to travel with Zone bars in my bag, and they give me this plate that is the size of this desk, and I can't do the accent down there, but they were like, "Girl, you need to put some pounds on, so you got to finish your whole plate." And I was like, "Finish the plate? This would take me like 3 weeks." But God, the hospitality down there was something special.
Oh, we specialize in hospitality.
Yeah, it's kind of great. All right, Marshall, let me just pick your brain at this midpoint of the season of who's of interest to you, because I can't talk about the same stuff over and over again. Who do you like, Marshall? What's interesting to you?
Well, it's not who do I like. I mean, obviously, when you look at it, you're looking at Philadelphia, and you're looking at Kansas City, Baltimore. I like when guys say pay me and then they go out and they play like Lamar is doing. Like he's really saying he's showing his worth, and I like that. But the surprise, Jacksonville, Detroit. I'm happy to see the 2 quarterbacks there and what they're doing. Jared Goff got shipped out, and right now he's actually leading the team. The job that Brad's doing. Brad was an intern in the PR department for the Rams in St. Louis before he started working in scouting, and now he's the GM building the Detroit Lions. It's so great to see, Brad and Ray Agnew over there, what they're doing. It's just a lot of good things happening in the league.
When do you want to be a GM? Someday? You'd be such a good GM.
I don't know, man. Susan, I like how people view me and my football knowledge, and I would hate to be John Lynch and you go get Garoppolo, and then you go get you draft Trenton, and then before you know it, some 6th round guy end up being quarterback, and Brock Purdy. It says you really know what you're doing in this league. It's like Tom Brady. You like the Patriots really knew what they were doing, so they waited until the 6th round to draft him, the 199th pick, and now he took it and became the GOAT of the league. I just don't want to be that. I enjoy the space that I live in.
Yeah, you enjoy being in the air way too much. Marshall, what the hell's happening in New England? Is this the end of Bill Belichick?
Oh man, that's tough to say. Bill has been such a staple. But I'm a kind of give you an analogy and where I sit. I think Bill is still the coach that he once was. I think he knows as much as he's always known. This league is about players, and for the last 3 to 4 years, Greg Popovich in basketball was not relevant. He was not relevant. But then you get the first overall pick, Victor Wembanyama, and all of a sudden Popovich knows how to coach again. Belichick, when he was in Cleveland, he wasn't relevant. And then he got himself a Tom Brady and he became relevant. Coaches help players, players make coaches. And that's how it goes.
Chris, you want to jump in?
Yeah, well, I'm not about the Patriots. It doesn't
He's too
really
depressed.
matter there. But what do you think about Dallas? I'm sure you watched the end of the Philly game, and it's just another big game where they come so very close. Like, Dak played so well for 95% of the game, and then it's just 2 plays at the end seem to kind of define them year in and year out. Like, what are you seeing from them, and do you think they'll ever kind of just take that leap that we're all kind of hoping they eventually do?
Yeah, Dallas is like a husband and a wife that, like, they look good together, but they always fight and they always fuss and they just can't figure it out, but they look so good together. That's what Dallas is like. And then they have in-laws, and the in-laws want to make all the decisions. That's Jerry Jones. And sometimes those decisions, they're just not good for the couple. It just does not look like Dak. They in McCarthy, they just don't look like they go well together. They're never on the same page. That's why I feel the message, the quarterback and the head coach or play caller, there's some synergies between them in situations that you don't even have to think about what he wants. You know what he wants. They always seem to never do. It just doesn't seem like they're on the same page.
Yeah. Tony Pollard, too, doesn't look like what we were kind of expecting coming into this year. Rich was saying...
Tony Pollard looks like Tony Pollard as a 1. Now, you're talking about Tony Pollard the 2 when they had Zeke. Right. Tony Pollard the 1, this is Tony Pollard the 1. When he was drafted, if you look at his grades and what they said, Tony Pollard as a 1, this is what he looks like.
Did they need to would you have liked to have seen them kind of go after Derrick Henry or somebody else at the trade deadline?
Oh man,
is that the fix for that team? Somebody like that. Should they have brought Zeke back? What is missing? I guess
the Cowboys. It's not one thing. Listen, here's the reality. Okay, when your issue is clock management, like organizational issues, there's a player can't fix that.
So you're saying you think that it's a coaching change?
I don't know if it's a coach. Hold on, wait. You either got to get a quarterback that's on the same page and is getting the messaging from the head coach or the play caller, or a play caller that's going to have the same messaging as the quarterback. Something is missing with them too. It's like the communication. It's just there's always, when it goes wrong for Dallas, it always goes wrong with them too. It's something that happens.
You have to wonder about where that's going to go. You have to wonder about what Jerry's priorities are for that, because you can't tell. Sometimes there's tells, don't you think, Marshall? Sometimes there's tells, and you kind of see where this is going. But this is a rough one.
I'd be scary. It would be scary for me if I was Jerry, because it's hard to tell who's who with them two. Like I really can't tell. I like it's if you gotta, do you move on from Dak or do you move on from McCarthy, or do you just sit it out and wait for it to happen?
Marshall, real quick
That's
about
a tough dilemma.
Marshall in Atlanta. A lot of people are questioning Arthur Smith about, using his best players, specifically Bijan Robinson, who has one, I think, red zone touch this year. What are you seeing with Atlanta? What is going on there? Do you think it's something more? What's your read on the Falcons?
The kid is dynamic. It looks like they got him on a pitch count. I'm like, I don't know if he has some incentives in his contract they're trying to hold him back from, but I have no idea. I've never seen a rookie running back with this much talent not be used. It's baffled me. It doesn't make sense. They had a young quarterback in there, and they were doing things in the red zone that's hard for veteran quarterbacks. Turn around, hand the ball throw a swing route, put the ball in your playmaker's hands. And he's making plays.
Right.
When you get the ball, he makes plays.
Yeah, he's averaging 2 more yards per carry than Tyler Algier, but Algier has 12-1 red zone touches.
Yeah. That's a smart coach. Coaches in today's, I like every coach wants to be responsible. They want to send their package in. They want to design their plays. They want it to be them. And you get caught up in that. You get caught up, Arthur's caught up in his play calling.
Yeah, it's like these guys are decoys for Jonnu Smith, and it's just right. Head scratching.
Marshall, a quick question for you here is one of obviously the greatest football players to ever play, gold jacket and a bust. I have a question because Chris and I talk about this after the show quite a bit. With 920 receptions, over 13,000 yards, and 74 touchdowns, why is Torrey Holt not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? This is baffling to us.
I know it's coming, man. It's coming. Torrey, unfortunately, he played with me. He played with Isaac, and he still put up those numbers. And midway through, I'm gonna say, midway through the 2000s, early 2000s, the numbers for receivers started to get funny. And when I say funny, it became a pass-happy league in the sense that when I first got in the NFL, if your quarterback threw the ball more than 25 times a game, that was because you were losing. Mm. And now in NFL, if your quarterback don't throw the ball 25 times a game, you are losing. So the game has changed. You started having, and I'm not taking no shot at these guys, but you started to have a Wes Welker, a Damian Amendola catching 80, 90, 100, 110 balls. It's like, wow. And you're going to see in a couple of years when those guys start to come up, those numbers are hurting a guy like Torrey Holt, who wasn't the only player on his team. He caught those balls along with the numbers Isaac had, along with the numbers I had. Mm-hmm. So it was prolific, not because of the volume, but because of his body of work. And we won.
Before we let you go, let's ask you about Will Levis. What are your thoughts on the rookie quarterback there?
There's something there. There's something there. And I believe his willingness to push the ball, willingness and ability to push the ball down the field. Here's what's always dangerous. When the receivers are catching the ball with room to make moves and they're coming back excited, whoever the backup quarterback is in trouble. That's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. When that communication between the quarterback and the receivers on the sideline, the hand gesturing, here's where I'm gonna be, that's a bad sign if you're the starter and Will is the backup. It's easy to see.
If you had to come back for a game, Marshall, who would you want to play with right now?
Oh.
I would want to play with, obviously, Kansas City, and not because of Patrick Mahomes, but just because I love the creativity that Andy Reid, for his players, the motions, the shifts, the play, like what they do, it's fun. And I love the fact that, yes, it's about winning, but you want to have fun. I enjoy that. And then the dude is just so cool. I mean, when I came out, I didn't want to go to Cincinnati, but I go to Cincinnati to play with Joe Burrow. Like, he's just so damn cool, man. He's just so cool. I'm telling you, I love his swag.
Yeah.
When he's healthy, is he the best quarterback out there?
I wouldn't say the best, because the best, you have to put a lot of things into that. He's the scariest. Like, he's the freaking Reaper. He will go into Cincinnati and rip your heart out. He will go into any stadium. It does not matter. Buffalo, he'll rip your heart out. Like, he is the Reaper of the league. Nobody wants to see Burrow in the playoffs. Like, it's like, oh, damn, we got Joe. Nobody wants him in the playoffs.
You do look like you're in a Minecraft video.
Thank you.
Right? Don't you think, guys? I think so. It looks like a little bit like Minecraft.
I thought he was in the bathroom, honestly, when
Wow.
I first popped up. It was like Marshall at a bad time.
We love you.
Marshall,
Thanks
you're the
again.
best.
Take your time down there.
There's no
Have
bad
fun.
time for the Rich Eisen Show when Suzy Shuster is hosting.
Yeah.
That's just
Amen.
that's what I wanted you
Amen.
to say. You know me so well. Thank you for that. Love you.
Thanks,
See you
Marshall.
next Tuesday. Fly safe.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.